Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. My name is Emily Williams, and this video is about checking the facts and problem solving, which is a skill in the emotional regulation unit of DBT. First, I'm going to go through the process of checking the facts and problem solving, and then I'm going to pull up a little worksheet that I use to kind of go through all of the different steps. So when you check the facts, the first thing you should do is describe the problem situation. What exactly is going on that is causing the problem? Then you check the facts, all the facts, and sort them from interpretations of the facts. The third is to identify your goal in solving the problem. The fourth is to brainstorm lots of solutions. The fifth step is to choose a solution that will likely work. The sixth is to put the solution into action. And the seventh is to evaluate the outcomes. So when you're checking the facts, what you're looking for is if you're interpreting the situation correctly, or are there any other interpretations of the events that you can think of? You may also ask if you're thinking in extremes. Is there all or nothing thinking on board or catastrophic thinking? You might think, what is the probability of the worst happening? And even if the worst is happening, would you be able to cope with it well? If you find that you wouldn't be able to cope with it well and you are faced with a really big problem, then you move on to the next steps. So when you are going on to the next steps and you're looking for problem solving, the first thing you ask yourself is what needs to change? What in the situation needs to happen in order for you to be okay? The second question is, can it happen? So we don't want to generate solutions that might be great and wonderful, but can't actually happen, like getting somebody to do something that we want them to do when we have zero control over what they do. Is it simple? Is it something that easily can be done? Then you're going to generate a number of solutions for yourself and think about whether you're being very critical of your solutions. If you're unsure, you can choose 2 or 3 solutions that look good and then do like a pros and cons to compare the best solutions. And you can choose the best to try first. Once you do that, you try out the solution. You take the first step and then the second step, and then you look and see how it goes. After you've tried the solution, you check and see how the outcomes are. Did it work? And if it did, reward yourself. If it didn't work, reward yourself for trying and don't give up. Try a new solution. So now I'm going to share with you on the screen a worksheet that I utilize for this process. So here you see it. So let's say here, let's describe a problem situation. So I'll start with me. I'll think of one off the top of my head. Let's say I'm having a problem with a coworker who is undermining some of my work, or being rude, undermining and being rude. So if I look at the situation, am I thinking about the situation correctly? Describe other possible interpretations. Well, another interpretation might be that this person is trying to give me positive feedback and is working hard to address things maybe I'm not addressing. Another interpretation could be that they're having a difficult day. Am I thinking in extremes? Am I thinking in all or nothing, black or white thinking, or to catastrophizing? Let's see. If I had a situation with a coworker who was undermining my work and I felt really criticized by them and almost like there was not support and they were being kind of rude, I might think, gosh, I hate this person and I don't want to have anything left to do with them and I don't want to work with them. And that might be catastrophizing. I might be making it bigger than what it is. So then we look down here at what is the worst thing that could happen. The worst thing that could happen is I could get really agitated and end up lashing out. What is the probability of the worst happening? That's pretty low for me because I work in a workplace setting. I want to keep it professional. But even if it were to happen, could I cope with it? I could probably cope with it. I wouldn't love it. I would probably stay distressed for a little while. So maybe this is something I need to problem solve since I'm going to stay distressed and I'm concerned about lashing out. So let me look at this further on down. So what needs to happen and change in order for me to be okay? Well, I would really like for this person to, address me in a way that feels good, or if they are providing feedback in a way that doesn't bring up defensiveness. So if I identify what needs to change? Yes. Is it simple? Yes. So some solutions that I could generate is maybe I could talk to this person about the way that it's making me feel and then come up with some strategies for communicating better. I might want to yell at them until they give in. I might want to avoid them at all costs. I might want to stew on it for a while and then go tell their boss. Um, and then I might reach out to some other people and get some advice. So I think the solution that will likely work is if I talk to the coworker about how their behavior is making me feel, and maybe just kind of work it out, because maybe I am catastrophizing. Maybe it is supposed to be feedback, and we just need to communicate how we're talking to each other in a way that will lead to some changes. So let's say I go and I try out this solution and I look and see what works. So let's say I talked to this coworker and they got a little bit defensive, but they were able to hear me out, and I did see some small changes. What might not have worked is that there's still this feeling of being undermined. So we have this reinforcement for being effective. Okay, so it was effective. I did see some changes. So I might reinforce myself with an ice cream for being brave enough to go and address it and be assertive. But if my solution did not work, or it did not work effectively all the way, I might choose a second solution that will likely work. So for one of the other solutions that I came up with is to avoid, right? So I might decide that it's a good idea to ignore some comments and then come back to the discussion about it at a different time if it continues, because it might just be a matter of working some of that stuff out. So then I'll go through and evaluate those outcomes, and I will look at them again and look at the reinforcement for being effective. So as you can see, we can generate different ideas for a different problem. There's a number of different problems out there. Sometimes when we check the facts, our emotions do not fit the situation because we're having an intense response. We're having a triggered response. And so it's super important that we check the facts to see if our emotions fit the situation. And if it does, then to problem solve. Problem solving is one of the best ways that we are able to deal with problems. And looking at different solutions will help us figure out strategies and work through those strategies. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one.